Where you see from matters. Where you see from matters. If you have a very low perception capacity, you'll be looking for more things to prove that you are doing something great with your life. Are we still together? Let's move on. Now, if the word perception means apprehension, now there are synonyms of perception that I want us to understand. Number one, there is insight. Insight is a synonym of perception. Are we together? And insight means seeing beyond what everyone sees. Insight means seeing beyond what everyone sees. That means everybody is seeing this thing in this way. That means if everybody is seeing this way, there is something my grandmother used to say. He says, when she wants to insult maybe all of the grandchildren, she said, no. That means you're all seeing from the same level of all of you are seeing from one level, and it is somebody that sees from a different level of sight that now becomes the enemy. When you see from a different, vantage point of sight, you now look as if you are the only one that is strange. Your ideas now look strange. People will automatically, my father in the Lord will always say something. He will say, an heretic is the person that God here before us. And a very, very powerful statement. But now I think an heretic is somebody that sees from a layer of sight deeper than what every other person can see. Are we still together? So the question now is insight. Are you insightful? When people are talking about, certain XYZ, what have you seen beyond that thing that everybody sees? Before I came into beyond the school world, as the institution started, basically, everybody talks about, if you ask people education, literally, everybody will talk about senior secondary school, junior secondary school, primary one, nurseries, crèche, and then university. That was the totality of what educational system or academical system represented. But I used to know there is more. I don't know. I can't explain it. Before somebody says, what is this guy saying? I believe that the educational system has gotten to its expiring or expiration capacity. There is a need to build a new kind of see what I'm saying right now. It's the same education. Now, if God shows two people and say, start a school for me, somebody would see that stuff and see what everybody has been seeing and go and start a secondary school. Some of us saw that stuff and said, Lord, it cannot be secondary school. There's a kind of institution that has to be bred. And I used to say this, and I'll keep saying this. The days are going to come that will prove what I'm saying. And many of you would, you'll be there to witness these days. Beyond the school is nothing. She's an hybrid, she is that institution for the future and of the future. Because the kind of curriculums that we have not even started teaching any of these stuff, because we are still being careful. We are incubating these things before somebody will come and put us on that tire. There are a lot of stuff that you have seen that nobody else is seeing, and you're like, is anybody seeing these things with me? Because now you're like, before we even got all this whatever, I used to say something that people will finish university and still have to attend our schools. And I'm not kidding. We have already started seeing signs of these things happening already. You will finish university as a graduate, and you will now say, you now just come and register for the school and say, let us start my educational journey, literally. You will have this certification, and you will know it's not by certification anymore. You will wait for the days. And this is not a bragging. I'm trying to teach you what perception is. So when somebody says, I've had a lot of persons say, why not, start teaching students mathematics and all of this stuff? If you do online virtual classes and I'm like, I can't. And people was like, why can't you? I've tried. You don't understand. Every time I want to teach that stuff, I'll end up teaching practical academics, I'll end up teaching economics in a way that you cannot use it to pass the exam. You can only use it to pass in life. I wish you together. So I just knew, Tomisin, don't force yourself to become who you are not. If people want to attend classes, there are a whole lot of schools, there are a lot of curriculums online. If you go online and go and search mathematics, you will see too many classes. Don't add your own to it, because where you see from determines what comes into your life. One day people will exhaust that body of knowledge and their soul will pant for more. Then you must be rightly positioned. This is what perception is. So perception means insight. Perception means wisdom. And wisdom there, explains innovation and your problem-solving capacity. Perception means intellect, and that means intelligence. Perception is a product of your intelligence, and I've taught you what intelligence is. Intelligence is not somebody that knows book. Intelligence is your capacity to use things in the best and the most capable way to solve a problem. For instance, if you talk about emotional intelligence is not saying sorry when you offend somebody. Emotional intelligence is having a full grip on your emotions, and you know how to use emotions to get what you want. I used to say something that somebody who has a high level of emotional intelligence can manipulate you. You don't understand. Emotions are directives. If I can manipulate, if I can master emotions, I'll make you feel what I want you to feel. You don't understand? Of course, feelings are, but I can make you feel what I want you to feel, because emotions are directives and all of that. Moving on. Perception means brilliance. And what is brilliance? Brightness. The Bible says in Isaiah, it says, kings will come to the brightness of your lighting. So that means kings are looking for somebody that has where have you been? Nobody thinks this way that you think. Not because when they say nobody, it's not mean you are the only one on earth that thinks that way. They everybody we have interacted with. Nobody thinks this way. These are the questions people begin to ask you. Who are you? You don't ask you, who are you? And I'm well, my name is Oluwatomisin. And you're no, nobody thinks this way. Your level of perception, the way you see things, and well, I'm grateful and all of that, but that is not even the best. Some of us have not even gotten to we have not even started. We're just trying to see how much what we are teaching can be practiced. We've not even, oh dear. It makes you a lot of sense. Perception. This is the level of perception that you have that determines who. I keep saying this thing. What comes into your life, who comes into your life. There is a switching, you will switch in your perception that you begin to attract new people into your life. Because you now begin to see men as resources. Are we still together?